Have you ever finished a massive project, you breathe that huge sigh of relief, only to see the next team make the exact same mistakes 6 months later? It's an all too common story in construction, right? Well, today we're going to break that cycle for good. It's a fantastic question. I mean, we're an industry filled with incredibly smart, problem-solving people, and yet somehow we get this project-by-project amnesia. We figure out these complex issues on the fly, but the solutions just don't seem to stick around. All right, let's get into it. Here's our game plan. We're going to look at the cycle of mistakes, nail down the huge difference between observing and learning, and then we'll get practical. We'll talk about building a framework, using the right metrics, creating a knowledge library people actually use, and finally, shifting our whole mindset. Okay, first up, the core problem. Every single project is like a gold mine of information. But so often when the job is done, we just pack up and walk away, leaving all that valuable knowledge buried in the ground. And this right here, this is the heart of that project amnesia. Think about it. That superintendent who figured out a brilliant sequencing trick, the project manager who navigated a really tricky subcontractor issue, that knowledge is pure gold. But if it's not written down, if it's not shared, it's just a memory. And when the team splits up for the next job, all that experience just vanishes. It literally walks out the door. So what do we really mean by lessons learned? Well, the Project Management Institute, or PMI, puts it perfectly. It's not just about rehashing what happened. It's about gaining actual knowledge to explicitly improve future performance. This isn't about pointing fingers. It's about building a smarter company from the ground up. Now, let's dig into that definition a little deeper, because this next point is absolutely crucial. This is where most lessons learned programs completely fall apart. We tend to mix up two very, very different things: observing a problem and actually learning from it. This slide just nails it. Seeing a safety hazard on site? That's a lesson observed. It's passive. You saw it? Great. But implementing a new procedure and training the whole team so that hazard never appears again? Now that is a lesson learned. It's active, it's about real change. And that's the gap, isn't it? That's the one we have to close. We're experts at spotting issues while we're in the thick of a project. The real breakdown happens when we don't take the time to analyze why it happened, create a solid action plan, and then bake that solution right into our company's DNA. So how do we fix this? How do we get better? We've got to move from those random, informal chats after a project to a structured, repeatable process. This is all about building a system, a framework, for capturing that wisdom instead of just letting it evaporate into thin air. And here's a simple but incredibly effective way to structure it. You've got your basics, right? The project overview, what went right, what went wrong, the key insight, but look at those last two: recommended actions and responsible parties. Honestly, that's where the magic happens. Without a clear action and someone who owns it, your report is just a diary. And the process itself really matters. Don't wait a month after the job wraps up when everyone's forgotten the details. Get everybody in a room, field, office, everyone, while it's still fresh. And having a neutral facilitator is key to making it a blame-free, open conversation about what happened, not who messed up. Then you document it, and of course, you actually act on it. Okay, let's talk data. Because a really strong lessons learned culture isn't just about looking backward. It's about using data to look forward and stop problems before they even start. Just look at that number, $61.8 billion. That is the annual cost of workplace injuries and illnesses just in Australia. It is a brutal reminder of what's really at stake here. In a high-risk industry like construction, failing to learn doesn't just cost money. It can cost people their health and their livelihoods. So, to prevent that, you have to understand these two types of metrics. Lagging indicators are like your car's rearview mirror. They tell you about the accident you already had. They're reactive. But leading indicators? That's your windshield. They're the proactive things you do that help you see the hazards up ahead and steer around them. And here are some fantastic examples of those leading indicators. Are your teams actually completing their safety training? Are people reporting their misses so you can fix the root cause before someone gets hurt? Are those toolbox talks happening every single morning? See, these things don't measure failure. They measure the effort you're putting in to prevent failure. And of course, you still need the lagging indicators. Things like your lost time injury rate are absolutely essential for accountability and for benchmarking your performance over time. But just remember, by the time you're measuring these, the damage is already done. So what's the right balance? Well, the consensus from experts is pretty clear. You want an 80-20 split. For a truly predictive safety strategy, you should be focusing 80% of your energy and attention on those proactive leading indicators. It's like building a fence at the top of the cliff instead of just parking an ambulance at the bottom.
Okay, so you've got your process down, you're tracking the right metrics, but there's one final critical piece to this puzzle. You've done all this great work capturing lessons. So how do you make sure that knowledge doesn't just get buried in a folder on a server somewhere, never to be seen again?
Oh man, this is probably the simplest and most common mistake. Storing lessons by job number. Think about it. A project manager getting ready to start a new hospital build isn't going to search for job number 74B-9. It's just not how our brains work. The system has to be intuitive. Instead, you need to build a real library, a central place for everyone can find what they need. Organize it in a way that makes sense, by project type, by building system, by client. Use tags like concrete pour, HVAC, or permitting delay so people can actually search for what they need. And you've got to keep it clean and updated so it stays a valuable, trustworthy resource.
All right, let's bring this all home. Because when you strip everything else away, this all comes down to a fundamental shift in how we think about our work.
This is it. This is the ultimate goal. The objective isn't just to get the job done and move on. It's to finish every single project smarter, safer, and more efficient than you were when you started. That's how great companies are built, one lesson at a time. You know, building a smarter organization takes the right mindset, for sure. But it also takes the right tools. We've talked a lot today about having structured, accessible systems for your knowledge so you can stop repeating mistakes. And that's exactly what Lementai is designed to help you do. It's a construction management platform that helps you get rid of those chaotic spreadsheets and messy WhatsApp groups on your site. You can digitalize your workflow and build that library of knowledge we've been talking about. Go check it out and start free today at lementai.com.